Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks commentary.
Can you hear me now? 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 Let's try this all over again. Give me 2 seconds and we're going to do this back and better than ever.
Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay, Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Wednesday night, January the 8th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Just like the Vancouver Canucks, I got off to a rough start, but just like the Canucks, I'm going to power through and put in a good performance. And hopefully I won't come up short at the very end. So thank you for being here. It's a night where the Vancouver Canucks lost 2-1 to the Washington Capitals. And I'm not even upset. I'm not mad. I don't want to have one bonehead play in overtime kind of shade or completely bias my thinking. Because the Canucks, for all intents and purposes, played a really good game. They really did. And they played a really good game against a team that is way ahead of them in the standings. Coming into this game, Vancouver we know that they had their 45 points and Washington had 56 points. So this was a team that was 11 points better than the Vancouver Canucks, yet I would dare say the Canucks dominated, controlled, whatever word you want to use, parts of the game, the majority of the game, only to fall to, I'm not going to blame the officials. Rick Tocchet doesn't blame the officials, so I won't blame the officials, but not the finest overtime period. And the decision-making in overtime. So let's put it that way. But we'll have a lot of time to get into it. I'll give you my impressions. I'm going to throw to you many times during the stream because I want to get your feedback. And then we'll just kind of see what happens tonight. And I'm especially glad to be here after I didn't stream yesterday. I'll talk about that in a second. So moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legends, Hall of Fame and franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood in Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or better, all three. But the fact that you are here with me, know how much I always appreciate you and how I never, ever take you for granted. So this is how you can get involved. You can subscribe to the channel. You can get active in the chat section, get notified of my videos. You can like the video. Already 45 of you watching in YouTube, another 35 watching on X. Make sure you like the video. Like the fact that we're together. Like the fact that Demko and PD likely to return back to the lineup on Friday. Like the fact that all the guys stood up for Quinn Hughes in the first melee of the game. And like the fact that we actually were the better team. And I think Washington would even admit that for the majority of tonight's game. You can leave a donation like Brian has done, and I'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Brian. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership. You can upgrade your own membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. So before I even came on, and before the two openings, again, my apologies for that, I want to go to the first donation of the night. Brian, Hall of Fame member Brian making sure that we do not get making sure that actually our donation train does indeed get out of the station. So let's find it here. Here it is. And let's highlight this right now. Let's give Brian Blingy Choi some love in the chat. So thank you, Brian, for your donation, a $5.49 super sticker. And yeah, thank you, Brian, for being here. Thank you for your support as a Hall of Fame member. Very grateful to you as always. All right. So, by the way, before I get going, let's do this. Before I talk about the Canucks game, really quickly, hey, Hansel, nice to see you. Nice to meet you and Chelsea at the game last week. Before I get going, really quickly, last night, I was up. Okay, so I'm warning you, I'm going to do 3 minutes of non-Canuck stuff, and then we'll get to the game, I promise. 3 or 4 minutes max. So last night, yesterday, I got up at 5 a.m. to watch Jake Bull, and then I did so again this morning. At least if he wasn't on the live stream, I made sure that I was following the scores in real time. So last night, I was really tired. I actually slept from 9:30 to 11:30, and then I went to my prayer hour at 12. So no show last night. There wasn't much to talk about. I didn't just want to talk about Miller and PD. You know how much I despise talking about that topic. Well, I don't despise it, but I'm kind of sick of talking about it. So I decided to take a break last night, but I wanted to make sure that I was here for you tonight, even though I was a couple minutes late, and even though in rushing to get ready, obviously I did not check everything, and I thought the microphone would pick my beautiful voice up right away. So thank you, SGA. I will get to your donation in a couple minutes, but I don't want to lose my train of thought, but I'll make sure I get to it. So that was why I didn't do last night's show. Jacob's bowling, so proud of him. He did not make the top 12. So basically, he bowled 18 games, 6, 6, and 6. He was in 5th place after the first 6 games. Then he was in 14th place after 12 games. Then he was in 12th place after 18 games. And then by the end of tonight, he had to be top 12 to move on to the kind of the playoffs tomorrow. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. He came in 17th place overall, but still very proud of him. He's not going to make Team Canada. Remember, this is his first year as an adult bowler, not as a youth bowler. If he was still a youth, he would have made the youth team because his score was good enough to do so, but not good enough to make the men's team. And the men's team included 4 professional bowlers. So I was very proud of Jacob finishing 17th in Canada. That means, at least by this tournament, he's the 17th best male bowler in Canada. I would actually put him top 12 to 15. I think he had a rough couple of games that really hurt him in the standings, but needless to say, very proud of my son Jacob for the wonderful way he bowled in Montreal. He'll be coming back on Friday night. Oh, Swervin Irwin was worried about me. Thank you. No, it was all good. I just needed, I needed more of, it was more of a physical break. I'm not perfect. I'm not super strong, like the strongest ever mentally, emotionally, but I'm pretty strong mentally and emotionally. Despite me just saying I'm not like super, like I'm not perfect. No one's perfect, but I'm pretty strong emotionally. I'm pretty strong mentally. But physically, I just needed that break last night. But thank you for worrying about me. Yes, SGA, I will get to you. I already said that I would. Lastly, before I get into SGA's comment and before I get to the Canucks game, how many of you were at the PWHL game at Rogers Arena? If you were, tell me about it. No, Jacob does not play right shot D. He's a great two-handed bowler, though. And thanks, everyone, for the congrats in the chat. Really appreciate you guys. How many of you were at the game tonight, at Rogers Arena? And if you were, can someone explain to me how they had 19,000 fans in attendance when the sellout for a Vancouver Canucks game is 18,600? Where did they get the extra 400 fans? I'm sure they didn't have extra seating like in the bowl. So what did they pack? Like a bunch of suites? Did they sell a new section? Tell me how they got to 19,000. Honestly, I saw that attendance figure, and I'm thrilled that apparently it's a very good game. Apparently, the crowd was great. The game presentation, all those things were great, which is awesome. I couldn't go because it was my church night. Wednesday night's my church night, so I barely saw the Canucks game. But how did they get to 19,000? And Viper says simply it was packed more in the suites. Okay, cool. Were any of you there? Let me know in the chat. I want to highlight you if you were there. In the meantime, I will highlight this comment super chat from SGA. So let's give some love to SGA in the chat for the $2 super, what do you call it? Super chat. And this is $2 US. So basically this is almost $3 Canadian. Even more reason to celebrate. So SGA is at 288 subscribers, only 12 away from 300. So you can help him out. If you want to help him out, go to SGA Sports Talk channel and give him a sub and help him get to that 300 mark. Thank you, SGA, for your support on this channel. And thank you for spending the money on the super chat. Appreciate you. Okay, what else are you guys saying about... Okay, so no one in this chat sounds like they were at Rogers Arena tonight. But all across my Instagram stories, it looks like there are a lot of people there. But that's okay. That's okay. No problem. I wouldn't be able to talk much about the game anyways because I wasn't there. I haven't seen any highlights. I just know that I think the final score is 4-2 for the Montreal team, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's talk about the Canucks game. Yes, rumor is OUR for sure. What is the Demko rumor? You guys talking about some Demko rumor? Okay, so instead of me going half an hour by myself or 20 minutes by myself and then saving the last 20 minutes for you, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to throw to you guys a couple times during my analysis. And but let me start by going through the edge goal visualizer as I like to do. So again, the Canucks lose 2-1 to the Washington Capitals. Washington battling for, they're near the top of the standings overall in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, they actually are the top team with tonight's win. So no shame at all. What? Demko going to Carolina? I don't believe it. No shame at all in losing to the Washington Capitals. The only shame was the way that we lost in overtime. But we'll probably get to that on the edge goal visualizer. So let's go. Only 3 goals to go over. Here's the first one both Washington goals were scored by Pierre-Luc Dubois. This one's kind of a fluke, actually. It goes back to the point here, and it's a shot that Lankinen makes a save, and then basically Dubois outfights Besser going to the puck. I think Dubois, if I'm not mistaken, remember, I'm not showing the highlights here. I believe he batted it down from the air down to his skate with his hand, and that takes a lot of skill. You got to give him props for that. Still want to see Besser make a stronger play. Let's watch it one more time. It goes back to Roy on the point right here. Or is it Roy? Anyways, he takes a shot. Lankinen makes a save, and then right there, Besser could have cut. He could have taken the man, but instead, Luc Dubois just simply outfights Besser to that rebound. Then the Canucks score on the power play, which was really good. A nice goal here, and you see Sherwood's on this unit. So you got Miller up to Hughes. Hughes takes a shot. They muck around a bit. I think Sherwood touches the puck, and then Garland puts it past the goaltender. So that makes it 1-1. Puts it back Logan Thompson. And then the killer in overtime. So this is, was this after, refresh my memory. I was mad at Myers in overtime for basically taking the puck and trying to do too much with it. But refresh me, did it come out the side here because of a Miller shot that went wide? Is this the one? Or is this Myers doing another horrible centering pass? Because I see the puck flying. No, that looks like a Myers centering pass, right? That misses. Yeah, so Myers comes down the left wing, if I'm not mistaken, centers it between Sherwood and Miller, and then this happens. It's Protas that goes down. So Miller looks like he's going to take him. So, hey, there's 5 Washington guys here. Miller drives him wide, but loses his stick. Now, right here, I get that Miller lost his stick, but you do not need Myers and DeBrusk going to get Protas as well. Protas is not that good, but look at this. We have 3 Vancouver Canucks players checking 1 guy. You know who that leaves open? 2 Washington guys. Look how silly this looks. Look how silly this looks. I'm so glad I didn't do goal review because this is ludicrous to me. So you have basically, yeah, look, it's a 2-1-0 in overtime. 2 of the 3 Washington guys are open. Luc Dubois makes a beautiful head fake, gets Lankinen down, and then comes around and puts it in. And there we go. DeBrusk chases him in the corner. Myers has his head down. So I'll get to Myers in a second. So that was the game-winning goal. Yeah, it was Myers' bad pass. Thank you, guys. It was Myers' bad pass. And Russell, nice to see you. But look, this is a game that we dominated. I know we only got 3 shots on goal in the first period. That wasn't great. But 21-5? 21-5? We don't get 21 shots in a game sometimes. 21 shots in the second period. Then it's 6-2 in the third. And then it completely changes in overtime, 5-1. So we outshoot them 31-18, face-offs, whatever. We have better special teams. We were 1 for 4, then 0 for 2. I'll talk about that melee at the start of the game. We had more hits. Once again, we always seem to out-hit. We had more block shots. So basically, all the important stats, except the 2-1 final score, we were better in. We outplayed the best team in the Eastern Conference. You look at the time, Hoglander just under 10 minutes, DJ Tepe just under 10 minutes, Sasson just under 10 minutes. That makes sense. You're chasing a game or in a tie game. You're not going to play your fourth line. We know that happens, right? You usually play your all 4 lines in the first 2 periods, and then you shrink down to 3 lines in the third period, whether you're trying to protect a lead, whether you're trying to grab a lead, or you're playing catch up. You always shrink down to 9 forwards, and it's not always you just lop off one line. Sometimes you combine 3 guys from your bottom 6, but that's usually what happens. So no surprise there. On the high side, Garland had 20 minutes and 42 seconds that had the most. I'm looking at shots, 3 apiece for Besser, Garland, Miller, and Suter all had 3 shots. A bunch of guys had 1 block. Sherwood had 2, and Sherwood had another 7 hits. So look at what Sherwood is doing. 1 shot, 2 blocks, 7 hits. Miller also had a complete game, with 3 shots and 3 hits. But he was certainly noticeable. Then on D, Quinn Hughes still plays 27 minutes. Although he missed like 7 minutes of 4 to 7 minutes of actual playing time by being in a penalty box. He also gets almost 4 minutes in overtime, and then so he has 27. Low man there is Vincent Desharnais at 13. Then 3 shots for Hughes, 5 block shots for Soucy, another 4 for Juleson. Juleson is good that way. 3 hits for Desharnais, and then go so on and so forth. Lankinen, certainly can't blame him on either goal. The first one was a great play by Luc Dubois. The second one was an even better play by Luc Dubois. And I know the only 18 shots, and he only makes 16 saves. That's 2 in, but certainly not going to blame Kevin Lankinen. Then really quickly, we'll look at the standings, and then I'll talk about this game, a couple things from this game. Then I'm going to throw it to you guys. So with the loss, the Canucks are now 1 point ahead of Calgary for the final wildcard spot with 40 games played. So they're going to have to move a little bit, but they are still hanging on to that playoff position by a thread. Okay, so the 2 things I want to talk about that I'm going to throw to you. Number 1, that melee with 4.5 minutes into the game, where it basically started with Wilson kneeing. Was it Wilson or Luc Dubois who kneed Hughes after the play ended? Then I'm pretty sure it was Luc Dubois, right? Then Sherwood and Miller jumped to his aid. Tom Wilson got in there. Connor McMichael got in there. So what ended up happening is Luc Dubois got a hooking penalty and a roughing penalty. Wilson got a roughing penalty, and McMichael got a roughing penalty. So there were 4 minors assessed to Washington, and there were only 2 minors assessed to Vancouver, and that was Sherwood and Hughes. So 2 minors, that means the Canucks didn't have a 5-on-3, but they had a 4-minute one-man advantage. Hughes, no one can figure out still what Hughes got his roughing penalty for, but I think maybe they couldn't make it a 4-1 penalty advantage, so they made it 4-2, so at least it's palatable. So Hughes is in the box for the first 2 minutes. Fine. But what ends up happening is from the time the power play starts to the end of it, there's no whistle. So after the 2-minute mark, the first whistle after 2-minute mark, whether it was another penalty, an icing, an offside, a goalie stoppage, a puck over glass in the offensive zone, anything, puck into the benches, Quinn Hughes would have come out of the penalty box and the Canucks would still have, a man advantage for less than 2 minutes. But after Quinn Hughes' penalty expired, play went on for another 4 or 5 minutes. So not only did the second power play expire, but Luc Dubois comes out of the box before Quinn Hughes, and Luc Dubois was the one at the double minor. It was so silly because Dubois' 4 minutes expired. Those were the ones that the Canucks were technically had the power play for. So he was able to come on the ice once his penalties expired, where Hughes had to wait for the first whistle after the second. Well, technically the first penalty expired, but he waited until after the second penalty expired. So that means Hughes wasn't on the ice for a 4-minute power play. And you can't tell me that of course, that had the potential. I can't say it did for sure, but that had the potential to change the game overall. Canucks get 1-2 power play goals. Now we're talking about a different game. Now they are defending the lead as opposed to chasing it. So many strange things about that play. Why was Hughes penalized in the first place? And then why didn't the Canucks get a whistle? No, you can't go intentionally offside because they could penalize that or at least. But I don't care. Ice the puck. I don't care if you're on a power play. I'd rather ice the puck and win a faceoff in your own end, or God forbid you lose a faceoff and chase the puck down for 20 seconds. But at least Hughes is on the ice. But instead, they're devoid of their best power play weapon, and therefore the Canucks only got one shot on goal on that 4-minute power play. So that was the first what the heck moment. That was the first what the heck moment in the game. The second what the heck moment was basically overtime. And we know that play about a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago when Myers passed it between the two forwards, Miller and Besser, I think it was. And then it was a power. That was the Seattle game, right? At home on the 28th. Yeah, I wasn't there. I was still coming home from LA. But yeah, that was the one where Seattle got the breakaway in overtime to seal the deal. And that was because Myers made an ill-fated pinch, and then even worse than his pinch was his pass through two guys all the way back. Okay. So tonight he brings the one shift that Quinn Hughes doesn't play in overtime. He plays 80% of the overtime, but the one shift he doesn't, Myers brings it down the left side, and you already know it's going to be bad. And then he goes, before he gets around the net, he tries to center it, but it's too far past Sherwood and Miller, bounces off the boards right to Washington, and it sets up that play. Then I think Sherwood jumps off, and then it's DeBrusk that jumps on, unless the pass was to DeBrusk and Miller. I can't remember. Regardless, Miller breaks a stick chasing Protas around the net, or drops his stick. Then DeBrusk and Myers, as we saw inexplicably, both of them go to him. So we have three guys chasing the mighty Protas in the corner, and then Luc Dubois is left all alone in the middle. It's almost comical how bad Vancouver is in overtime. It's almost comical how bad Tyler Myers is in overtime. But like I said, I'm not going to throw away all the good things that the Canucks did tonight because of Tyler Myers' one bad play. It's just that it just sticks out so badly because it's the play that ended the game. So I tweeted simply, you simply can't play Myers in overtime. And it has 181 likes, 6,000 views. And I don't do these things for the views, but it's got 10 retweets and 24 comments. And most people are saying, yeah, Clay, I agree. That was brutal. Why is he out there? But there were a couple of people who said, in all honesty, what's the other option? You can't play Quinn Hughes the whole overtime. Or can you? Or do you play three forwards? Or do you put one of Susie, Forbert, Juleson, or Desharnais on instead? And I get it. It's different if Eric Brandstrom's playing, then he becomes your second option. It's obviously different if Philip Hronek's healthy, because he's your second option for sure. It's even different if Cole McWard or Christian Wolanin are dressed, because I think those guys are your second option. But tonight, with no Hronek, Myers is your second option. So I get that. Like I realize that, but I wasn't going to correct my tweet or delete it. I get that in tonight's situation, he's your second best option on D. But so I'm going to ask you, before we get to the mid-show sponsor read, honestly, what's your solution for overtime? And you can talk about Myers specifically. And do you play Hughes the whole time? Do you play 3 forwards? I was telling Sean, maybe you just don't let Myers go past center. You say he has to stay in the neutral zone, and you just kind of go 2-on-3 on offense, but at least you have a safety valve back on D just to give Hughes a bit of a break. Maybe you do that. You simply don't let Myers go over half court, so to speak. So what's your, before I go to my Mitchell sponsor read, what's your solution for the Canucks overtime woes, whether it be about Tyler Myers specifically or just the Canucks in general trying to score the winning goal on 3-on-3? What is your solution to the Canucks in overtime? Let's hear it. Brandstrom should be in the, yes, but he wasn't tonight, Bruce. I agree. Please, anyone but Juleson and Susie. Are you talking about overall or in overtime? Yeah, you're right. Brandstrom's analytics are awful, though. Rome says, pull the goalie and put out 4. Yeah, why not? Right? It's like a power play. It's like when you have when you're pulling the goalie for a game tying goal. However you want to look at it, maybe the Canucks' chances are. I like that. The only defenseman who should play in OT is Hughes. There's no reason not to run with 3 forwards for the rest. Yeah, exactly. And I think, was it Florida or Carolina? There's a team that in the East that does this quite often, actually. They play 3 forwards because the theory is if you're attacking, you don't need that defenseman. And even if you have to play defense, technically you're checking against 2. The other team will probably have 2 forwards out of the 3, so you should be able to handle that. You think? I like that, James. I like that. I love it, Russell. Play Myers as a forward. So are you saying like use him in overtime as a forward, or simply think he's a forward and you don't have to use him, like you don't use, say, Bluger, or you don't use Sasson or PDG in overtime? I like that. I like that. I would staple Myers to the bench and play 3 forwards when Hughes is not on. Okay, so Zhao agrees with James. Owen says simply win the first faceoff. Yeah, but they did have possession a couple times for sure. Have a timeout. Yeah, you can take a timeout if there's a whistle. Good point. A players only meeting to discuss the overtime plays. Okay, now we're thinking outside the box. 3 forwards and make sure one of them is a defensive forward. Yeah, so put Bluger or Suter out there. Okay, Darren. Need to go back to basics. That's fair. 3 forwards would be better than Myers being on the ice in overtime. Yeah, maybe you do that, right? If somehow the Carolina or Toronto game goes into overtime and Hronek's not back, you just load up 3. You bring on a 4 like a Suter or a Bluger when Hughes comes over the bench to the bench. Nation simply says just win in regulation. That's true. You can't lose in overtime if you don't get to overtime. Miller, Myers, and Hughes to start OT. Yeah, even when PD's healthy, you got PD, Besser, DeBrus, and Garland's going, what the heck? Oh, I love it. Call timeouts in overtime. Yep. Play better in regulation so you don't get to overtime. These are great solutions, guys. I'm making note of all these. I'm going to send these to the Canucks tomorrow. These are good. Riley says put him in net in overtime. You mean for our team or for the other team? These are great, you guys. Give me a couple more. Put Gonchar in for overtime. Yeah. Tell him to start getting dressed in the 3rd period. It might take him that long to get dressed, Jovito. They're losing their positioning in OT too much, giving up too many breakaways, 2s-on-1s. That's true. That's there's the attack mentality, but you still have to remember that you got to defend as well. Simply do some more practice in OT. It's the Spence Diamond commercials. Oh, sorry. You're saying, I thought you were saying to play them to annoy the other team, but you're saying, yeah, my son Sean, my son Sean, we're talking about this, Dan, and they're obviously, are they cringy and annoying on purpose? And they're campy on purpose because they're going after a certain demographic? Or do you think the Spence Diamond people are kind of, they don't know how to read the room and they don't know that their commercials are a little bit annoying? But we are talking about it, so throw Myers in goal. Okay, I like that. Riley says he could help. And then Ian just says, just practice the 3-on-3 more. Love it, you guys. Love all your suggestions. I'm going to get back to you guys in a second. But first, I want to do my mid-show sponsor read because it is past 11:30. Very quick half an hour. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's start off by my mid-show sponsor read by thanking my primary sponsor, Jason Lim, and Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the Greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Also, shout out to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. You check him out at coachpatrickliu.com/clay and receive a free 5-day workout when you do so. Thank you to Gassy Jet Art, maker of that fine artwork. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who has purchased Canuck Clay merch at canuckclay.threadless.com. You can support me. That's another way you can support me, by buying the merch there. And a reminder that you can subscribe to the channel. You can get active in the chat section by doing so and notified of my videos. Like the video. There are now 200 people in the stream. Thank you, everyone. Like the video. You can leave a donation like SGA and like Brian have done. Thank you, gentlemen. You can gift a membership. You can buy your membership. You can upgrade your membership. You can use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. One other thing I wanted to remind you of, and that is tomorrow night is a members only stream. Yes, got to catch up. I missed one in December, so I'm doing one this week. So a members only stream tomorrow night. My member streams this month are January 9, which is tomorrow, then Wednesday the 15th, and then Thursday the 30th. So 3 members live streams instead of 2. Very similar to this, except I barely do anything to talk at the start. I just kind of, because there's no Canucks game, I never do them on a Canucks night. I just kind of open up to your questions and comments. Usually go for about 40 or 45 minutes. So that will be tomorrow night at 11 p.m. is my members only live stream. And then don't forget, on Friday night, I'll be joining Mark on Game Over Vancouver. So all you have to do is type in Game Over Vancouver in YouTube. And right after the Canucks versus the Carolina Hurricanes game, I'll be on Game Over Vancouver. So I hope you can join me there. Now, with respect to tonight's game and this road trip, you might remember that I predicted that the Canucks would lose this one in extra time, which they did. I predicted that the Canucks will win on Friday against Carolina because I think Carolina's the weakest of the 3 teams, Washington, Carolina, Toronto. So I don't know if Demko starts. I don't know if PD, sounds like PD is going to play on Friday. So you got PD coming back in the lineup. You got Demko back in net. So I do predict the Canucks win on Friday night. And then Saturday, back to back, a bit of travel to Toronto, hockey night in Canada. I just have a feeling that the Maple Leafs are going to be up for that game. So with their crowd, and that could be a very tough game because the Maple Leafs also had 56 points with Washington. Washington has 58 now. So Toronto is the second best team by points in the Eastern Conference. So going to be a tough couple games, but I do think the Canucks will beat Carolina on Friday, and I think they'll lose to Toronto on Saturday. Okay, I will go to your questions and comments starting now. So let's do that. Let's start from right now, and then that way I'm not going back too far. If you left a comment or a question that you thought was really good, just retype it again. Fangirl says, with Hronek doing a conditioning stint in Abbotsford, does that mean he's returning sooner than we think? Rick Tocchet wouldn't jump to that. They asked him about it earlier today. It's because the Canucks are rarely getting any practice time on this trip, so that's why he's sending down to Abbotsford. You keep him at home, but they're not going to play him in any games. It's more for practicing and skating and working out, being with teammates of some sort, even if it's the Abbotsford team. So Rick Tocchet wouldn't put a timeline on it, but it would seem to suggest that Hronek's going to come back way sooner than I thought he was. So maybe it'll be by the third or fourth week of January as opposed to February. Zal says, this is the first year where I feel embarrassed being a Canucks fan. Do you really? That's a strong word, Zal, and I'm certainly not going to make you take it back. But embarrassed is a strong word. Are you truly embarrassed to be a Canucks fan this year? I'm not. I want them to be playing better, and I don't like all the drama surrounding the team, but for me, I wouldn't use the word embarrassed for me, but if you're feeling that way, you're totally justified doing so. We desperately need help on our D. I would agree. Do you think the PWHL will expand to Vancouver? Do you think it would be part of a mass Western expansion? Yeah, I don't know what the PWHL's plans are, but I do know obviously packing Rogers Arena and with the apparently how good of a night it was. If they do ever expand, I think Vancouver should indeed get a franchise. But I don't know the mechanics. I don't know their plans or anything like that. We have to be organized, have a plan, communicate before overtime starts, and then grab the puck and score. Put the puck in the back of the net. I agree. There's nothing complicated about it, but obviously the Canucks are proving that's easier said than done. Haven't we lost the last 7 games? We're not even playing bad. We just can't get the puck in the net. Yeah, I'm not upset about tonight's game. I'm upset how we lost it, but I'm not upset about tonight's game. But no, we won against Seattle. So going backwards, lost tonight, lost in Montreal, lost in Nashville, but we won in Seattle. So we have lost 3 straight. But then before that Seattle game, we had lost 2 others, Calgary and Seattle. But then we beat San Jose. But then we had lost to Ottawa, Vegas, and Utah. So we've lost 8 of the last 10, which isn't great. Tyler says we need Hronik. Riley, Clay, if you could change the Canucks goal song, I would go Bust a Move or You Can't Touch This. Viper and Filmer, I will let you guys discuss amongst yourselves, but I will say this, whether it's Filmer posting and then Viper reacting or Viper posting and Filmer reacting, no matter what, if you post something that's not conventional or goes against the grain, actually it doesn't even matter. I take the bat. If you post something, people are allowed to respond to it and vice versa. With all the talk about trading Miller or Petey being traded, do you feel the Canucks are more likely to trade Besser? Well, interesting the way you put it, Russell, but I've gone on record of saying I do not think the Canucks will trade Petey or Miller, and I don't think they should trade Meaty. I can't believe that's so bad, you guys. I can't believe I just combined their name to Meaty. Yeah, Meaty or Pillar. I think the Canucks should not trade Meaty or Pillar because they are both pillars and they're both meaty. That didn't sound right. No, they shouldn't trade, nor will they trade Petey or Miller. That's my guess. Besser's an interesting one. I talked about this on my show on Monday night because if you're not going to re-sign Besser long-term, which I don't think the Canucks will or should do, given the money he wants, as much as I like him as a player, then do you trade him at the trade deadline, even if you're in the thick of a playoff race, or do you let him like Edler and Tanev that year? Do you let him, and Toffoli, do you let him walk? You just say, and Lindholm and Zadorov recently, you just say, thank you for your service. I know it's a little different. He's not a rental, but do you say, thank you for your service, and then utilize him, keep him for the playoff run, and then don't actually trade him away? So tricky. Russell, it's the easy way out, but I think it really depends on where the Canucks are in their playoff chase, their playoff hopes, to be honest with you. Carly, I thought they were going to win. Me too. Oh, the Canucks are already in Carolina. Thank you. We are still in a playoff spot despite everything that's gone wrong. So that is the one part that does give me hope, Jeevan. I know that Hughes is a key piece for us, especially in OT, and you want him out there a lot. But why do fans give Miller flack for long shifts in OT and not changing, but not do that for Quinn? Quite good question, Justin. But quite honestly, I think you find Miller, despite Hughes playing more, you find Miller out of position more. Maybe it's more risky because he's a forward, or maybe because Hughes controls the play so much. But you got to look at options. At least if you don't play Miller, you have DeBrusque, you have Garland, you have PD when he's healthy, you have Besser. So you have other guys that can play in OT. With Hughes, as we saw tonight, there really is no alternative to him. You think ex-NHL players over 50 years old should be head coaches? Yes, the game is different since they played it, but that's why you have assistant coaches. That's why you have scouts. That's why you have, video coaches. That's why you have coaching staffs. I think, Dan, you're still looking for the guy that's still going to connect with your players the best, for sure. Embarrassed? No. Concerned? Yes. That's fair. Talking is good. And so I have to say that having ex-hockey players for coaches are good. That's fair. Hey, Viper, Fillmore. I would agree with Viper on the standpoint. No, sorry. I would agree with both of you. Fillmore, when you say I can say what I want, then Viper can also say he can say what he wants, including responding to something that you might want to say, and then you can react how you react. But I don't think any of us should react negatively when someone disagrees with us if it's done respectfully. And again, I've always said I trust my moderators, but more importantly, I trust you guys. And if it's something sexist, racist, homophobic, ableist, or stupid, I will delete it or have the moderators delete it. But a difference of opinion is not any of those things. 8-team overtime losses is the record for most overtime losses. Do you think the Canucks will break it? They're on track to. By virtue of stats, they are on track to. I sure hope not, though. Yeah, Canucks did get a lot of shots today. Philly at this rate. What does that mean? Oh, you're responding to Philly. They had one shot, Fillmore, in that 4-minute power play. It was the DeBrusque chance. The meaty pillar. Between the multiple blown leads, drama between our two best forwards, and just how we're losing these games, we're the laughing stock of the league. So that's why you're embarrassed. I understand. Yet we're still in a playoff spot. Does some part of losing on such an obvious error make an easy fix? I'd love to say yes, Russell. On the other hand, you kind of get sick of talking, not him, but the fact that he has to say, we're there. I like what we did. But at the same time, they're not claiming moral victories. I like what Quinn Hughes had to say. He said, Washington's a good team, but we're a good team. And when we play well, we can beat any good team in the league. That's true. It's just, I think the really good teams keep these kind of mistakes to a minimum. Don't like the idea of trading the captain. Yeah, well, yes, although nor Hughes or Petey or Miller are not the captains of the team. It's indeed Hughes. Other than Myers, he needs to be benched because he's directly caused 2 outright losses. Oh, I see what you're saying. You'd be fine benching Myers for OT, not the whole game. Canucks need Brandstrom. Hey, I'm guessing this is Witten or Jordan. Canucks need Brandstrom, not just for the puck moving ability, but if Hughes isn't playing for whatever reason, something's got to create offense. Yes, I agree with you, but as someone else noted, his analytics are pretty bad. His 5-on-5 play is really cratered. So one point that the Canucks, the guys on Sportsnet 650 were saying after the game, Satin and Bick, was yes, our lack of offensive depth on the blue line is really exposed in overtime when Quinn Hughes needs a break. But the way is like tonight and against Nashville, where we only allowed one even strength goal, right? One goal with a goalie in our net. Maybe Montreal wasn't the best example, but against at least Nashville, Washington, you could say our defensemen have played well on D. So yeah, you can give them heck for their lack of offensive prowess, but Desharnais, Forbert, Jolson, Soucy, and Myers have all played, and Hughes have all played well defensively. It's just that good defensive play it's not the priority in overtime. So tricky, right? Shannon keeping her faith up. I like that. Hey, Roberto. Yeah, I was thinking about that when I saw one of the draws, offensive zone draws. I thought to myself, Fillmore, is Lekkerimäki going to get a chance? I'm not sure if he's earned Taka's trust yet. Yeah, the fires in California are very scary, very similar to the fires that were here. Yeah, it's pretty sad and pretty scary, and it's not just rich people that live in the Palisades. Like obviously, there's a lot of there's some nice houses there, but there's a lot of common people that live in that area as well. It's just very sad for everyone. Next 5 games. We beat Carolina. We lose to Toronto. We lose to Winnipeg. But then we're going to win against LA and Edmonton on the homestand. So I think they go 3-2. Even though Garland scored on the power play, I don't think he should be on PP1. Yeah, without PD, there's a couple. Yeah, they're looking for some options there. He's okay. I think he's pretty good. So Tyler gives talking to 8 out of 10. Oh, Roberto, happy birthday. Is it your birthday today, Roberto? And how old are you turning? How likely is it that the Canucks can swing a deal for a second pairing D-man? If Hronek's, I see, second pairing. I don't know how likely it is. I bet you the prices are very, very high, and therefore the market is dry. Yes, I agree with you. Burrows is player development. I did not know that. Brock looks slow. He is slow, but yes. How soon do you think Hronek comes back? It sounds like 2 weeks from now. And no player shirt, just a straight Canucks t-shirt tonight, Edmund. Hope you're doing okay. Too bad timeouts can't be saved. Yeah, exactly. There's 40 games. Talk would probably have 36 of them still. Yeah, Justin, I mentioned that earlier in the stream that there are 19K there, more than Canucks capacity. Well, Fillmore, I'm going to say this. I love you, man, and I've met you a couple times, but you can't comment. No, sorry. I don't think you need to comment on anyone that's trying to even keep peace, because it sounds like to me, Fillmore, that you don't like it when anyone disagrees with you. So that's what I'm trying to teach everyone is we have to learn to, if we're going to say stuff that isn't conventional or might be a bit outside the box, which I encourage, especially if it makes sense, or at least you think it makes sense. Not just you, Fillmore, but anyone, we shouldn't get so defensive when someone disagrees or tries to point out a different, and I'll say this to anyone. I'll say this to Justin. I'll say this to Lucas. I'll say this to Andrew. I'll say this to Shannon. So if we always react negatively or defensively when someone responds to us, then it actually, what it does is fills up the chat with unnecessary comments, and then other people then jump in like Ty has tried to do, and then you might say that they should mind their own business. So, Fillmore, you might be upset at me for saying this, and I'm not calling you out specifically. I'm just talking about in general. What I've learned in general communication is either one of two things. We either have to accept that other people aren't going to agree and not get defensive about it, or if we can't, then we shouldn't say stuff in the first place if we can't take it back. So, Fillmore, I'm not going at you personally. I'm just using this example tonight as a way to bring it up, and I don't mind. I love it when you guys interact with each other, especially when it's positive and when it's constructive. But I don't like it when it fills up the chat unnecessarily. But it's whatever, first world problem. I can just skip it. So maybe I should take my own advice and just skip these things. So I just want to address it. That's all I'm going to say about it now. You guys do whatever you want to each other. When PD comes back, who do you think comes out of the lineup? To me, it's Phil DiGiuseppe. He's not moving the needle for me at all, and I want Lekerimäki's offensive ability in there. Thompson had a great game. Canucks were more noticeable with their shots on goals, but their depth scoring has really dried up. Hoglander, Suter, and even Sherwood. Yeah, I agree. They're not getting goals from anyone, right? No even strength goals. They got shut out against Nashville, and tonight it was only a power play goal from Garland. So, Roberto, I'm not sure if you heard me. Oh, great. I see it. I watched the game, but I missed overtime. Oh, that's the most exciting part. Hoglander's been slumping. They missed Suter. When Miller was out, Suter was producing so much. When Miller was out, Suter was producing. I see. So was PD. Is the lack of trades for the Canucks with much needed upgrade concerning? Concerning is not the word I would use. I think it's difficult. Fangirl. The more games that happen, the more noticeable it is to see just how slow Besser is. I love Best, but I think it's probably the best to walk away and not extend unless, I agree with you. I don't think it should be more than 4 years, but Besser won't take less than 4 years. That's why I think it's inevitable that Besser won't be here next year, as much as I do like him too. Okay, Roberto turned 45 today. That deserves the goal horn. Happy birthday, Roberto. Thank you for spending your birthday, some of it with me, with us, with the community, and a nice WWF attitude logo there. Canucks can solve their problems at the end of the season. Making moves now won't push for playoffs. I completely agree with this one for sure. I could see Rutherford Alvin not wanting to make a desperate move now just to make the playoffs this year. But I also see, I heard you, I saw some of you guys talking about the Canucks window earlier. I could see them thinking the window's not going to be open for that long, so that they do have to make a move. So I guess I just played on both sides of the fence there. I could see both things happening, honestly. Do you think the Nucks management can convince Brock to do another 3-year bridge deal and pay him 8.5? Yeah, the shorter the deal, the more you have to pay, excuse me, per year. But that would be his fourth 3-year contract, right? I don't see GLS. He's not getting any younger. Well, obviously none of us are. Not getting any faster. I just don't know if that would make sense for Besser. 3-2 over the next 5 sounds right. Rome says, yeah, Besser is looking for long term. Even if it's disappointing Canucks lost an OT, having 1 point is better than 0. Yeah, you could argue that they've gotten points in 3 of their last 4 games. They've gotten 4 points out of 8. That doesn't sound so good. 3 out of 4 sounds better. And yeah, that they started this road trip 500. You can say that they're 0-2. Rangers offered Zibanejad for Miller. I wouldn't do that trade unless they add. Yeah, 1-for-1, no way. I can have an opinion, but someone else's opinion is supposed to be better than mine. I think you're trying to say their opinion is not supposed to be better than yours, which is true. No one's opinion is better than someone else's. Brock is only good for another 2 to 4 years based on his foot speed. I would trade him. Will we trade Besser before the trade deadline? Hey, Rev Trev. I talked about this I'm not sure if you were here. I talked about this about 5 minutes ago. I have a feeling they won't, and they're going to be willing to let him walk away, which is, I get it. It's bad asset management, but unless they're getting something comparable that helps them now, I don't see them trading Besser if they're fighting for a playoff spot. Clay, have you ever had road rage? I'm going to guess no. GLS, I'm not sure if this is because of the post I put on both Instagram, Facebook, and X, where yesterday, for the first time in my 50-year life, I saw someone pulled over for driving too slow. I was in the left lane on Steveston Highway, heading, what direction is that? East. There was a bus on my right, a bit further up, and there's a super slow person in front of me, 40 kilometers an hour. So I was tempted to go to the right lane, speed up to the back of the bus, and then cut ahead of this guy. But I couldn't move to the right lane because I saw a car coming up on my right side. Sure enough, it was a cop. So I stayed behind the slow guy on the left. The cop moved up to my side. Then he went past me. He put his left turn signal on, which is strange to me because there was no room because I was basically riding the guy's butt. But I let the cop in front of me. And sure enough, he put on his lights and he pulled the guy over in front of me. Unless the guy was on his phone, which I couldn't see. And I actually think for the first time in my life, I witnessed a guy getting pulled over for driving too slowly, 40 kilometers an hour down Steveston Highway. Have I had road rage? Yes, I do have road rage. I'm not to the point where I'm fighting or I'm even swearing or fingering people, but I do like to, if someone cuts me off, the one thing I hate the most is like, I get annoyed when people don't let you in or don't zipper merge properly, all those things. But the thing I hate the most is when I'm driving, whether it's 1 lane or 2 lanes and I'm in the right lane and someone turns in front of me, like going the same direction. They turn in front of me to go in the same direction, but they're going way too slow or they don't leave enough space and it's unsafe. So I will do the quick jerk to the left, drive past them, shake my head, wave my finger. I admit I've done that before. And then of course, the joke's on me when he catches up to me at a red light and then he pulls up right beside me. So long answer to your question, GLS. Do we miss Zadorov yet? I do miss Zadorov. It's easy to say that he would have a big impact on this team. I think intuitively he would, but I don't know how much. You're welcome, Roberto. Very good, Coach Rob. Was Besser the person driving on the freeway that you saw get a ticket for going too slow? I think I could skate faster than, but no, I can't skate faster than Besser. Please don't trade Besser. No to Canucks trade and believe in Joe Henry. I believe in Joe Henry. Aren't bridge deals for RFAs? Typically, yes, but no, you can, as a UFA, you could sign one. It's very rare though. It's very rare. The Canucks still have their 2025 first. Yes, I believe so. Let me see for sure. Canucks future draft picks. Here we go. The Canucks do have, they actually have 6 of their 7 picks next year, believe it or not. 6 of their 7 picks. It took me a while to get here, but thank you, Russell. Nothing is perfect. I hope you don't mind me using your real name. Yeah, because you say you're Russell. It's not like you're trying to go anonymous. Thank you, Russell, for the gift of membership. Shout out to Russell. Let's give some love to Russell. Nothing is perfect. He gifts a franchise membership, so it's a $5 donation, and it goes to Skytrain Alfred, who I didn't know wasn't a member. Maybe his membership just lapsed. So welcome back, Skytrain Alfred, and thank you, Russell, for the donation via membership gift. Let's give some love to Russell in the chat, and let's give a big welcome to Alfred. Alvin bites the bullet on a down year, and hopefully everyone rebounds next season. That's fair. That's fair. As long as we beat the Leafs in Toronto. So that's what Edmund really wants. Yeah, Justin, I'm not sure if you missed it. I also talked about this earlier. The scrum, it was silly that Hughes got a roughing penalty. It was even more silly that Hughes did not find a way to get Hughes out of the penalty box. What does your reaction be if the skate logo came back with the current color scheme? I would love it. I love any type of skate logo configuration. No problem, Mike. Very quickly, Brandstrom's analytics aren't great, and the Canucks issue isn't defense. I mean, with the way the Canucks are playing, I almost contradict myself. I think they're putting an onus on defense, and maybe Tocchet thinks the other 5 guys are better defenders than Brandstrom right now. Of course, you want Brandstrom overtime, but you're not dressing a roster just because you're thinking about overtime. Suter deadline trade if Canucks aren't in the wild card. He would be a great point. He would be an amazing addition for a playoff team. He is a UFA at the end of the season, making 1.6, but I also think the Canucks would want to re-sign him. 2000s navy and red. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Clay, the old gym isn't the gym anymore. Brock could be traded. I hear ya. We'll see. Yeah, we were talking about the analytics for sure. Hey, Rome, if you're driving safe, that's fine. It'll take more OT losses for Carolina and Winnipeg if it means we stomp Toronto. Oh, you'll take OT losses. Yeah, that means we'll get points in all 5 of our road games. That would be pretty good. So you really want to stomp Toronto. I love it. If Demko stays healthy, would you move Lankinen at the deadline for a solid asset or keep the tandem? I keep Lankinen past the trade deadline. I see what you're saying. If Demko stays healthy, yeah, it'd be easy to say if we knew that Demko was going to stay healthy, then of course you move Lankinen. But the reality is we don't know Demko's going to stay healthy. The reality is the Canucks are going to be fighting for a playoff spot. That's why I do not think they're going to move Lankinen. That's the age-old question, right? For every team is do you endure poor asset management for a current playoff run? Best for Dobson, I would do that too, but the Islanders won't do it. California laws say you can only pass on the left. So if you did that move to get ahead of the slow driver, you would get a ticket for passing them. Yeah, no, I thought about that for sure. Because generally you're not supposed to pass on the right. But I think I would have disguised it as, despite my dramatic visualization, I think I wouldn't have done it so abruptly where it looked like I was passing. I would drive in the right lane for a little bit as long as I didn't smash it in the bus in front of me. But I hear what you're saying. I sweet talk the cop out of the Rome. You have a way with words. If you want to see some road rage, I will tell you that I know someone who has sometimes a bad road rage. Okay, no, don't spoil it here, Shannon. I hope we beat Toronto. Maybe that'll be your birthday gift, Roberto. If you had the opportunity to resign Zadorov, would you if he took a deal less than 5? Way too many minutes. That would put us in man. But he has way too many minutes. Wouldn't that put us at a man disadvantage a lot? I don't get that second part, but yeah, if Zadorov was going to take less than 5, I would have done that for sure. Oh, Coach Rob is admitting it's him? Oh, a lot of pounding minutes. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. You want them to beat Toronto so you can laugh at your support worker. Make sure he still helps you, though. Like, I don't want you to laugh at him so much that he refuses to help you. But, Shannon, that's good that you have that playful relationship with him. That is great. Pedersen has to make a huge impact. I agree. Retro Canucks jerseys. Yes. Someone brought it up on my stream either on Sunday or Monday night. 3:30. Bertuzzi, Naslin, Linden, Object. Very good. Yes. Slower traffic. That's true. I should have mentioned that. I do know that you're supposed to You're technically supposed to drive on the right and only move to your left if you're passing, technically. Blackskate with the number 49 and Millerson on the back. So what does the 49 mean? I don't get it. Millerson, that's a half Miller, half Pettersson, right? What's the front? Oh, it's half Miller, half Pettersson as well. Okay. No, I haven't seen that yet. Road Rage, give them a finger. I'll take them to police. What does that mean? I hope the Canucks beat them. Leafs, me too. I wouldn't call him unsung. He was good, solid, but I wouldn't call him unsung. Very good. All right. It is midnight. That was a very eventful stream. We had some nice discourse in the chat. We had some great suggestions on how the Canucks can play overtime. You guys basically said either pull the goalie or go 3 forwards if we have to. And a lot of spirited chat and some generous people as well. So thank you everyone for being here. I don't know if you felt it, but that was a very quick hour. It makes me kind of lament not streaming last night, but I'm okay. And I don't have to get up to watch Jacob at 5 a.m. tomorrow, sadly, because he did not make the top 12. So I'll get a bit more sleep tomorrow morning, do a full day of work, cut my hair tomorrow night, and then I'll have a nice haircut for all of you members who will join me for my members live stream tomorrow night at 11 p.m. So that's my next show, 11 p.m. members live stream tomorrow. Thank you for thank you to all of you for being here, for undergoing my technical difficulties in the first minute. I know, Russell, you would never do anything like that. You're too much of a pro. Same with you, Rev Trev and Canucks Uncensored and any other content creator. That was weird. I tested my mic and it worked. And then I knew as soon as I started talking that nothing was coming out. But maybe that was a relief for some of you for at least 1 minute. All right, friends, you guys are awesome. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Harry Mile, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe, and you can leave a late donation. Thank you to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. And thanks to everyone who went above and beyond. Brian, I can't show your donation because it disappeared. But thank you to Brian Blingy Choi for getting the donation train out of the station. Thanks to SGA Sports Talk for his donation. And thanks to Russell, Nothing is Perfect, for gifting a franchise membership that went to Skytrain Alfred. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow night at 11 p.m. for my members live stream. Everyone else, I'll see you Sunday night for my regular live stream at 11. And don't forget to rate the bad joke out of 10 on the way out. And happy birthday, Roberto. Stay safe. Stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. I don't know about you, but I like to sing kind of like catchy songs. And for me, I always have this urge to sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight. The urge is always just a whim away. 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 God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.